So how has the trades helped you?
You know, the trades helped me gain power as a woman. The trades helped me gain, I know who I am as a Black woman because now I'm in my story, I just have, constant battle being a Black female in the trades. However, I was able to put an imprint in society. I was able to build a legacy in my community and in my city that no man could take from me, and no one could take my recognition.
Good people. Jonte Hawkins here. Let's talk trades. So this episode, I had the pleasure to interview Lashanna Lintamo, also known as the fashion welder. She gave a great wealth of information about how she got started and some of her experiences in the welding industry. Again, you can follow her at the Fashion Welder. I'll have her information in the show notes as well as in my reels on Instagram and shorts on YouTube. So also the Cypress Mandela Training Center is where she went for her training, her initial training. So I'll have that in the show notes as well. The website to the training center. So again, it is in California. And if any other information that you may run across that you'll have be interested in, I can always send it. So shoot your information to Jonte at letstalktrades.com and I can make sure I get the information to you. So without further ado, here's the interview. It was a very refreshing interview with a lot of information. So let's talk about it. So greetings.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well. How about yourself?
Good.
So I am Jonte Hawkins. That's my full name, and this is Let's Talk Trades with Jonte Hawkins. So we bring in subject matter experts from different trades to expose the youth to the options of having a skill, even if they don't use it full time, just having this skill as a backup. And that's what we talk about on this show. So I'd like to welcome
Nice. So
your
glad that it's such an inspiration, and it's definitely needed in this age and time for sure.
yes, yes. Lashanna, is that right? Perfect, perfect.
Yeah.
Also known as the fashion welder.
That's her.
So I saw you on Instagram, and I interviewed the what's the young lady's name? She was the electrician, and she was following you. I said I was going to reach out to you and see if I can get an interview with you. So it's
Oh,
very
thank
unique.
thank you. Well, shout out to her. Hey, do your thing, girl. Keep pushing.
Yeah, yeah. She's from Georgia, Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But I saw that she had shared one of your reels. I was like, oh, really? That's definitely unique.
Ah,
I was very impressed.
thank you.
So I did send some questions beforehand. Let me pull it back up. So, a little bit of background about what you do, and everyone know you're on the West Coast. I think you're the first one that from California that I've had the opportunity to interview.
Putting Cali on the map. That's what we do.
Okay, can you give a little bit of background, and we'll start with, how were you exposed to the trades?
Yeah, well, I'm a country girl. I'm out here in the sticks. We say, there's two trees and a mosquito. That's all we got. And growing up with my grandparents, and grandfather was a World War II veteran, coming from, the country home of Louisiana, country boy, work with our hands. So everything that we do, we build it. If we break it, we fix it. We don't have it, we make it. And so I got exposed to the trades early on. Since I was a little girl, I've always saw my grandfather, my various family members working hard and building. Building, we all built our own houses and building our own sheds and fences and things around the house, welding and carpentry and plumbing and whatever it was. So I've always kind of been around it, but I didn't actively take part in the trades until around 2008 when the economy just crashed. And that's when the elders of my family came to me and they were like, listen, we see something that you don't understand and you're not going to be prepared for. You need a trade. You need something that's going to be that's going to last a lifetime, that you can get up and go to work every day and not worry about, waiting in line for application or waiting for a call and going out searching for work that's just not going to be accessible. And so that's when I jumped off and I entered into a pre-apprenticeship program called Cypress Mandela in Oakland, California. Shout out to them. Thank you so much. And what they did was they took us youth, us young people, and it was a 16-week program. And they gave us the knowledge and equipped us and prepared us for the trades, for joining the union and going out there and, actively obtaining sustainable work for ourselves, whether that was mathematics, tool training, physical fitness, terminologies, and much more. And in that, I got a chance to get certified in different aspects of the trades, including asbestos training, confined space, and all types of different things. So I really got exposed, and it gave me a jump, and it gave me the push to enter into the trades and join the union. So I took my first test for the plumber and pipe fitters. And out of 5,000 and something odd people, only about 200 and some odd number of us passed, and I was one of them. So it was really work in progress, and I really thank them for preparing us as they did.
That's awesome. That is awesome. What was the name of that program? I'll add it to the show notes.
Cypress Mandela in Oakland, California.
So you did say you went through the union. You're still an active union member?
So at the moment, I work for myself. I'm still an active union member. However, I've ventured off and, I work for myself. I obtain my own work. And there's ways you can do that. I'm going to say that with a thin line because there's rules and regulations. But however, sometimes, the union is not what you think it is. And they say it's a brotherhood. But which fails, where's the sisterhood and where's the equality and where's the union? So therefore I had to separate myself and make a stance and to protect myself. So nothing against the union. I advocate for it. I tell anybody, hey, that's what you do. Go for that first. So you have guaranteed, opportunities such as, equal pay opportunities, a chance to, get out there and get in the field, sooner than later and things like that. And plus they provide training, on the job training, or you're getting paid to learn. So it's a great benefit. So, but at the same time, so now I, solicit my own work. I have different contracts and agreements with people and that comes by building relationship down through the years. So
yeah, it's definitely a process.
Yeah.
I can understand it being a GC myself. It's a little different here in North Carolina. We're a right to work state. So when I was bidding commercial work, I didn't have to bid through the union.
Right.
I can bid directly and I can pull union workers in as needed, but I didn't have to bid through the union. So I know what you're talking about.
That comes with a little bit of knowledge and gotta be in the game for a little bit.
It's definitely a process.
Yes, sir.
So we talked about, what led you to the trade. You were talking about that big crisis in '08, '07, and I kind of fell through that also. I just shifted from residential to commercial. But
Uh-huh.
are there any licenses or training needed for your position currently? Well,
Well, to
California.
become to become a welder in general, I'm an iron worker by trade. So I'm a connector. I connect steel. I get up there, walk the iron, bolt it up and weld it together. Um, there's no license that you particularly need to get started. However, you'll be working minimum wages, you'll be working on the lower scale of wages. But when you become certified and become a certified welder, then your value goes up. And that means your paycheck goes up. You'll get, job opportunities that's not available for people who just know how to weld, but becoming certified really opens the door and gives you opportunities that probably couldn't even imagine that you had. Longer contracted terms, out on the job sites. And you get benefits is like per diem, and you even get a chance to have a small contract with the company and a partnership, and sometimes they'll hire you on full time. So it's a great benefit. So I encourage anyone who wants to become a welder, please learn, get out there and be active, learn how to do so. Practice is the key. But your main goal is you want to become certified and you want to become valuable to your company, because certified welders, they come with a little bit of knowledge. They know how to fix any mistakes. They know how to foresee any problems before they take up on the challenge. That's all that is going to save the company money. All that's going to make the job easier. All that's going to cut time in a job contract. So it's very beneficial to become certified. But don't stop there. A welding certification is still not good enough. You need qualifications and certificates to go along with it. So, when I'm talking to the youth, I'm talking to young women out there, I say, hey, pack your purse, pack your bag. You need to get forklift certification. And I'm not talking about warehouse forklift. You need, a Gradall, one of them huge forklifts that you see out there. You need a boom lift certification, one of those, high erected lifts that, sends you way up in the air. You need a scissor lift certification. You need all types of different certifications that's going to benefit you in the job. And the more items you have in your bag and the more tools that you have in your bag, the higher your pay goes. So there's a big misconception. Oh, welders only make, $20 an hour. Oh, no, baby, not this one. I'm not going to work less, than $65 an hour. I'm not going to come outside. Like, for what? So you can make up to $100 an hour, $120 an hour in the pipe fields. I mean, jobs is everywhere and opportunities are out there, but you have to equip yourself to take upon that job.
Yeah, that is true. That's one of the biggest things that I want to stress to the youth, that these jobs are out there and they're high paying, they're high demand. And I was at high school and I was telling them that we have headhunters in construction now. That was just reserved for corporate positions back then, but you
Right.
have you have recruiters going out to construction sites
Yes.
that are literally headhunting people to
Correct.
work for the competitor. That was something I had never seen before.
Yes. I mean, I've been out in the field on the job, with my hood down and, I could see some feet in the back of me. I was like, hey, what's this? And, there's a person with with a tablet or, a book, and there's like, hey, have you heard of such and such company? Have you heard of such and such union? Have you heard of such and such trade center or this and this and that? So they're always recruiting, but if you it's different in putting in an application at home. If you're not out there being visible, you may not get seen, because the trades is not something that is a paper trail. It's
Right.
it's handwork. It's you have to put your mark out there. You got to physically put your resume out there. So make yourself visible, get out there and try some jobs wherever you can fit in, or find like a temp trade agency. They have temp agencies for trades, and they'll put you out there to work at your level, even if you're an apprentice, which is great because you get a chance to go out there on the job. You get a chance to learn and hide yourself under the wing of a journeyman or a foreman that is going to be teaching you. And they need you out there because they need someone, hey, go grab these tools. That's going to teach you tool identification. Hey, take a look at these blueprints. I need, get these measurements. That's going to give you practice in your measurements and your fractions and things like that. So, make yourself accessible, and trust me, that'll be the beginning of your long road to success.
I agree with that sentiment 100%. How do you think that we can get more youth interested into the trades? Like one of my biggest things is to compare it. I try to bring in money and talk about some of the money I've made as a contractor and tie it into what they're doing in the classroom. It's like, look, what you're doing is on the contractor's exam. When I go and take a test for a certain state, it's the same content that's in that book. And now I'm licensed to $750,000 per contract. Their eyes, I get them at that point. Per contract. Per contract.
That's right. You know what? I think it would be a great idea. Just like we have YMCA and young youth programs in the community, that we have, a trades group, and that comes with government funding, that comes with, people who are mature in the trades together as a unit and showing the youth, showing them that bag, showing them the money, showing them the opportunity, put them through, a 3-week program for the summer or whatever, to give them that opportunity to see how they can make a difference with their hands, with their knowledge, with their desire to learn, and then reward them at the end. Hey, there's a $1,000 reward at the end of this. There's a $500 reward at the end of this. There's a $100 reward. Like, the more projects you succeed in, maybe the more money you can get, and it can teach them the benefit of contracting, the idea of putting projects first, priorities, and just really getting out there to make a difference. And it feels so good for them because they'll see that they too can be a part of history by just getting out there and doing something different. And kids love working with their hands. They love building. They love things that are hands-on. Why not give it to them? I believe the biggest issue is us adults. We forget a child's mind. We forget a child's heart. We forget how the youth operates and thinks, and it takes love and time and patience, and it takes sacrifice. You have to physically get out there and show them yourself, hands-on. So, I mean, you can preach to the youth all you want to, but if you don't get out there in the playgrounds, you don't get out there on the basketball courts, if you don't get in the classrooms, I mean, it's not much, it's not going to affect them, like it should. So, it's all funding and giving them that visual and tangible insight.
That's true. I can definitely agree with that also. So are you actually going to the schools and going to community centers in California to talk about your brand?
Oh, yeah. So the opportunities, and not only in California, but even across seas, and more so across seas than here in the States as of late. But however, I mean, whew, you should see their faces light up, especially in, third world countries, to see that a woman has not only has opportunity, but can do the same work and is equipped the same as a male, in their community or in their country. A lot of women are still pressed, and we're pressed here in the States, and so when I go and speak at conferences or small groups and here at the schools and things, for little girls to see that there's a woman out there, and a woman that looks like some familiar faces, just it gives them a host of just, oh my gosh, like liberation, that wow, really, me too. So here lately we're seeing young girls taking the opportunity to weld and get into carpentry, and they want to use their painting, and you see them more in sports, and they're getting out there boxing, and getting their hands dirty, and they're just really exposing themselves. Because what I teach is, hey, we're multi-dimensional beings. We don't have to be stereotypically placed on a shelf in a certain category, just because you're a female, just because you're a little girl, just because you're a woman. Absolutely not. Because if you ask me, the woman is one of the most powerful things on earth. I mean, when we bring you in this world, we can take you out. So, I mean, you too can work with your hands. You too have the knowledge. You too have the stamina, and you have the opportunities as well. And it takes, all of us to come together as a collective to really preach unity. It starts in the homes, and it starts in our schools. We need to teach unity, not, when we look at the commercials. One of my pet peeves is when I'm watching TV and I see a commercial, a HVAC commercial of a company, advertising for their heating and air conditioning. And they have a man walking at the door, and they say, hey, our guys are equipped and prepped to do this. That's it right there. You're already planting that stereotypical, seed in their mind that, I can't, work in heating and air, and I can't be in refrigeration and HVAC because, they're only going to hire the guys. Look how strong, and they got these heavy built guy. No, absolutely not. Absolutely, absolutely not. We're looking at the billboards, hey, my dad's at work, no, what about the moms? The moms are at work too. Grandmas are at work too. Age, gender, sex, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. God gives you the ability to work with your hands. So therefore we got to do what we got to do to the best of our ability.
Yeah, I agree. If it's your calling, it's your calling, no matter your gender or age or race or whatever.
That's right.
So I talk about there's still a stigma attached to the trades. I mean, and it goes back all the way to when we were talking about what we want to do when we grow up in elementary school. And then it progresses when we go through middle, and by the time it's high school, it's an afterthought.
Right.
Yeah. How can we try to break that stigma that's attached to the skilled trades? Because a lot of people think it's just minimum wage, low average skills, and one of the things that I do when I'm talking to maybe middle schoolers or high schoolers, I ask, what do you want to do? And you're going to get the doctors, you're going to get the lawyers, you're going to get the engineers. So you're going to build your big house. Yeah. How much you going to pay for your house? They'll say, I'm going to spend $1 million. So you're going to have to get somebody to build that house for you, right? Yeah. Well, I just made $1 million off your house. And you can see the light bulb go off, and they can't equate
Mm-mm.
the amount of money they're going to spend to show that they make money. So I'm going to make off one contract.
Correct. You know what? I always like to put it in comparison to this. What's going to last forever? What's been here before, it's here now, and is always going to be? That answer is the trades. Because in our day and time, everything is electronic. We have, AI, we have robots. That's in the doctor's office. So your doctor's degree, your doctorate's not going to go far eventually. You want to be this and that. Well, things are online, and all that's going to fade out. But the trades, you're always going to have. There's always going to be building in one shape, form, or fashion. We need someone to build the robots. We need someone to build the buildings and the new construction and infrastructures. We need someone to, like you said, to build that house. You need someone to build and or prepare the plumbing and the water flows. You need it takes a person and an equipped person to do these things. There's always going to be painting and framers, and there's always going to be welding. It's always going to be. So there's always going to be builders and cement masons. They're always going to be. It's something that will not die out. Now, when it comes down to when we're all in the Hunger Games and survivor of the fittest, who's going to survive? The one who knows how to plug in a charger, or the one who knows how to get out there and make a raft to get to the other side?
Yeah, that's true.
So it's all putting it in perspective. Knowing how to operate in a trade is a gift. It's an opportunity and a degree that will last beyond generations. And it's not for a time period. It's something that you can't retire out of, because you could teach it and give it to even a toddler, and they can carry that on and take that knowledge on to their next generation. So having a trade is so viable, and it's the number one thing that I would recommend. And like you said, your youth are looking at the dollars and what they can spend. Well, look at the dollars that you can gain from the people who are less knowledgeable and want to spend. So someone has to hire that person to build that building or that office or that grand home or that customized pool or or whatever, that fish tank in your kitchen. Someone has to build that, and they have to pay for it. So do you want to be on the receiving end, or you want to be on the continuous pour out of money and the losing end? It's a choice. But again, I think it goes back to the schools. It starts in the youth. Starts, instead of, they're taking out music, they're taking out woodwork, or, you don't see welding in schools no more. You don't see art, as we used to see. And so these hands-on, home economics, these hands-on trades that has taught and brought forth our generations, our grandparents and our great-grandparents, and that how they have made legacies because of that training and prepared us to where we are now. Now we are losing it and we're going backwards. It's ridiculous. So it's our fault. It's our fault. And we need to turn that around. Definitely need to turn that around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So we talk about the funding and the trades being removed from schools, and it's a lot of nuances when you're dealing with public schools and federal funds, and that's one of the biggest things that a lot of parents don't understand is, if we pull a student from a public school to go to a charter school, that federal funds, it doesn't go with them. It just
correct
the government. So that's how we're short staffed in schools and short funded with the trades, because that money is federal money. It's not money from the state. And that's what's happening with these CTE programs. They're slowly wilting away because they don't have the numbers to sustain it.
Yeah, it's so sad. We got to get our priorities together as a country. We really don't have our priorities together. Short and simple. We're not looking at our future. We're looking at the now, and we're looking at short time pleasure. That's not going to last. If we take some time and look at our future and put our funds where it should be. I mean, looking at the medical fields. I mean, hey, as we see on the news everywhere, people are just, jumping over bridges trying to get insulin, just trying to live. just medicines and things are just so, so expensive, and people are just capitalizing on the simplicities of life instead of gaining life, gaining stability for our earth. Our earth is crashing, and we're not doing anything about it. And it is starting with the funding, and the numbers, and especially in my generation, my parents are coming out of the 70s, and and that whole era, and we started failing. Um, 100 years ago, 150 years ago. It was just a big turnaround. But if the programs like this podcast, the programs that you're involved in, and the advocacy for the youth, and showing these numbers and bringing forth these subject matters and putting it in a different perspective to where even a child at the age of 14 can understand and realize, they too now become advocates for their future and for their future generation. So I absolutely agree.
Thank you. Thank you. So last question. Now I talk about how the trades help me. Everyone that asks, and anyone that wants to know, I'm going to tell them how the trades help me, because it gave me a sense of responsibility, a sense of duty that I had no idea that I had until I started. So I started getting those certifications, and just to tell someone my glide path to the point where, I was recruited on LinkedIn to be a safety director. So, being able to focus on one thing and not be able to scale my business back is something I never thought I would be able to do. So how has the trades helped you?
The trades helped me gain power as a woman. The trades helped me gain, I know who I am as a Black woman, because now in my story, I just had, constant battle being a Black female in the trades. However, I was able to put an imprint in society. I was able to build a legacy in my community and in my city that no man could take from me. And no one could take my recognition, because I did that. I was able to establish history for the future. And I was able to establish a legacy for my generations to follow. So that's what the trades did for me, because it gave me the power to stand for myself and to see who I am. I'm not a number. I'm not a statistic. There's no limitations on me. What you could do, I could do also, and I could do it better. You can't imprison my mind. Education is free. Education has no race, no boundaries. There's no border on education. And as long as I equip myself and made myself better than the ones who was trying to diminish that, I was unstoppable, and I am unstoppable. And I'm still here, and I'm still going, and I'm still building, and I'm still establishing. And that's my message to every single, regardless if you're female or male, you could do that too. You could establish history and a legacy for your community, your city, your country, in a way that nobody can take from you. Because once it's up, it's up. So once it's built, it's a wrap, and you got your name on it. And it's a pleasure I drive through different cities and towns, and I look like, whoa, I built that courthouse. Like, I put you guys are riding in my elevators. Like, I'm holding you up, bro. Like, you can't take that from me. And it's given me that power, that enrichment for, and identity of being a woman in this day and age. It's given me the advocacy that I needed in this battle, that we're still facing, in America, dealing with, the color that you are, the way you came here, the shape and form that you are. It's given me that advocacy, and it's given me the opportunity to teach others and be a it's given me the ability to be a forefront and a staple, a cornerstone for the next generation. And to feed the babies is that's the greatest gift. To see the smiles on their faces and to see how they light up and say, "Wow, like I can do this too," is something that just fills my heart to the fullest. Um, so that's what the trades has done for me. It's given me a mark in history. It's given me her story, and it's given me the ability to be all that I can be and more.
Perfect. I love that answer. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I so appreciate being here. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep pressing for us. Keep being that advocate and being that teacher, that instructor. And just thank you for being that building block for the next.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I will continue to follow you on social media and reposting all of your content
Thank you.
every way I can. I'd
Likewise.
be blessed. And thank you again for the interview.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
And there you have it, good people. So, again, the interview will be available on YouTube and Spotify. So, take a look. Always, as always, like, comment, share, talk to someone who's interested in the trades and have them come this way. It's a lot of information that's available for anyone who's looking for it. And I'm always here to be that facilitator of that information. So, again, this is John Tay. Any questions? John Tay at letstalktrades.com. And let's talk about it.